I'd like to start this next section by talking about apps and extensions. Now, in the reading, it should have kind of described what an app is and what an extension is, but I want to kind of go through it a little bit more. One of the reasons why is because we're going to use an extension to submit your assignments in this course, and so you have to know how to do that. And so I'm going to take and use the Chrome Web Store as well as that extension to for this lesson here. So the first thing we have to do is we have to go to the Chrome Web Store. Now the Chrome Web Store is where we can find all of the apps and extensions that exist for the Chrome browser. And just again to reiterate the idea between Chrome apps and extensions, the Chrome browser in and of itself is very powerful, as you've seen, but there's a lot of individuals that have actually started to develop apps and extensions that can take and increase the efficiency or the power of a Chrome browser. Now, apps, as you know, that's like a program that instead of running off of a disk, actually runs in a browser instance. But it's the same kind of thing. It's just running from a browser that, in this case, Google has. An extension, on the other hand, is really something that extends the functionality of your browser. And so I want to show you what that is. Now, to get to the Chrome Web Store, there's a couple ways we can do that. We can just type in the search right here, Chrome Web Store, or in your Omnibox. But if you have the Show Bookmarks bar, which I would recommend that you do, typically you will have a little grid, a colored grid here called Apps, and I'm going to click on that. And when you do, it actually brings up the more popular apps and the apps that you've installed. And you notice the first one here is the Chrome Web Store. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And what you're going to notice is that it has lots of different information. So recently updated, featured, apps and extension, those types of things. So lots of different pieces or apps and extensions you can do. Now, sometimes the easiest way to do this, if you know the name of the app, is just to come over here, or extension, sorry, is to come over here to the search. And I'm just going to type in Nimbus. And notice the second one here is a Nimbus screenshot. So I'm going to click on that. And you notice what it does is it kind of says, oh, I think this is the one that you want. And it's the first one here that I'm looking to install here. I'm not really sure about it, or maybe this is the first time I've heard about it. So instead of just coming over here and clicking Add to Chrome, I can click on top of it and it's going to open a new screen that's going to give me a little bit more information. I can cycle through these slides here to see a little bit more about it. I can come over here and read all of the different features found here. I'd also suggest you look at the reviews to see what people are saying about this extension here. There's 3,342 people that have reviewed this. It's a 4-star. I've used this before, so I'm going to recommend that you use this one here to turn in your assignments. So now that I've figured out that this is the one I want, I'm going to come over here to this little blue box that says Add to Chrome. It's going to bring up a new window. I'm going to add that extension. And then it's going to kind of process a little bit, and very shortly here, it's going to take and move from checking. And you're going to see right over here a new extension installed. So extensions are typically installed right here, just to the right of the Omnibox. It opened a new page. I'm going to go ahead and close this because I don't need that open. And come back to my Nimbus screenshot. And so that's how you install an extension. It's really simple, real easy. And I've just given Chrome browser some added functionality here that I didn't have before. Let's go ahead and install another one. So I'm going to type in URL, and you notice it comes up as shortener. That's the one I want, this URL shortener. It's a GOO.gl. And again, just to kind of go through this process, I can click on it to find out more about it, or if I already know this is the one I want, I can just come over here and say Add to Chrome. And when I do that, a new box comes up. I click on Add, and what you'll notice is that that's just thrown that into or onto my bar up here right next to my Nimbus. So the more extensions you add, the more icons you're going to see right here. So what does all of this do? Well, let's take a look at this URL shortener, because this is really handy, especially when working with younger kids. If I asked my young kids to actually enter in this URL, it would take them a long time, and some of them would probably not get it right. With the URL shortener, what I can do is this. If I simply click on it, whatever website I'm on, it will take this URL and it will shorten it up to a much more manageable URL here. So notice that if I ask my kids to put this in, and again, by the way, this is case sensitive, it'd be much easier for them to put in this URL rather than this one here. So that Chrome, or the URL shortener, is very handy for taking long URLs and shortening them up. If I want, I can copy that to my clipboard, Or if you're working with mobile devices and you want to push out a QR code, you can do that as well with this. So a URL shortener basically allows me from any page to take a really long URL and change it up. So let's take a look at the Nimbus screenshot, because this is the one that you're going to use throughout the course to turn in your assignments. A lot of your assignments, what I'm going to ask you to do is take and complete a task and then take a picture of your screen that shows me that you've completed that task. So I'm going to just show you how that works here using the Nimbus screenshot piece here, and hopefully you'll be able to take and turn around and do that yourself. So let's pretend that I am going to introduce my kids to Newsela, and I want to teach them how to go through the sign-in process, or I just want them to be able to click on the sign-in piece right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this Nimbus screenshot extension. The first time I do that, it's going to open a new window. I come back and I click on it again, and you notice that I have several options here. I can capture the whole page. I can even record a video, much like I'm doing here for this class. I'm using a different piece of software, but it's the same principle. I am going to come up and click on selected area. I really like to use this one because it gives me more flexibility in the area that I select. Click on that. You notice my cursor changes to a crosshair. I come out here and I select a portion of the screen. Now I kind of cut off the sign in here, and I didn't want to do that. I want to leave a little space here. So I can take and I can change the size of the selected area. And then once I do that, I can do a couple things. I can cancel it and start over. I can just move right to save. So if I'm going to save this and I'm going to upload it to somewhere else, I'm just going to click on save, and it's going to save it right to a folder on my desktop. Or what I can do is I can click on edit. Now I want to show you this piece because there's some added functionality here that I think you should know about. So I'm now into the editing portion of this this extension. And I can do a couple things here. So notice that my arrow is selected right here, my arrow line. And if I want, I can come up here and I can draw an arrow to certain parts of my screen here. I can also take and put, like a box around this. If I'm going to try to call out, make sure you guys can see that box right there. I can do it just like so. And oops, I went too far. Let me go back up here. Do it just like so, and now it's kind of calling attention to that. And there's lots, I can add text and call outs and different things and lines and stuff, and just very functional, lots of capabilities for using this tool here. Once I finish, I click on done, and I can do a couple things. Again, it's going to ask you to create a free account. Don't do that, because for this class, all I'm going to ask that you do is just to save an image, okay? If you want, you can send it to Google if you like, but I would suggest you use the save as image here, because what that's going to do then is going to prompt you to say, all right, where do you want to save this to? And when you do this the first time, make sure you know where you're saving it. I'm going to save mine to my desktop. I should have a folder here, but I'm just going to go ahead and throw it on here just to make it easy for you. I'm going to call it Jeff's Screenshot 1. And click on save. And so what I've just done is I've taken that screenshot and I've saved it to my desktop. Now, when you are asked to go ahead and submit a screenshot of your work, you're going to go back, you're going to find that, and you're going to attach it to your assignment in Canvas. So hopefully that makes sense. Again, these extensions are incredibly powerful. I typically have lots of extensions here just to the right of the Omnibox, but I've turned them off just in order to make it easier to understand this demo. You may run into a website where the Nimbus select area doesn't work. So we kind of have to trick Nimbus into working here. So for example, on the Beyond the Chalk site, because of some of the graphics and tools that we have in our website, the selected area piece doesn't work. So I'm going to come up here to my Nimbus, click on selected area, and then it's going to act like it's working, but it doesn't allow me to select an area. So if that happens, and notice now all my tools except for this one are grayed out here, what you have to do is first, if you can't get the other tools to work, you have to refresh the page, come back up to Nimbus, and this time what I'm going to do, I'm just going to collect the browser window. And so that's going to allow me to see which browser windows I have open, and I can select the entire screen or just the application window. And in this instance, that's going to give me the Beyond the Chalk. I'm going to click on that.
And what you'll notice is that when it comes into Nimbus, I have all parts of the browser window here. So if I'm asking you to maybe show proof that you've installed these two extensions, then all you have to do is come and grab this crop tool, come out here and do something like that. Click there and it's going to have that tool there. And then again, you can draw your arrows in. And when you're done, click here, save the image, and you are ready to go. So that's an overview of extensions. So now what I'd like you to do for your first assignment is to go out to the Chrome Web Store, and I'd like you to look for these two different extensions, the Nimbus Screenshot and the Google URL Shortener. And I'd like you to install those. And then what I'd like you to do is go ahead and take and use the Nimbus Screenshot to take an image and attach it to your first assignment. So your first assignment is to go out, load the two extensions, Nimbus and the URL Shortener, and then take an image using the Nimbus Screenshot, attach it to the first assignment, which will be on the next page. If you need help, there's a video that will help you right below this one, attaching an image to an assignment. Good luck. Let me know if you have any questions.